Welcome back. I thought I was going to talk. Remember when I originally started this show, I was going to tell you all about the history of football. And I was thinking about Archibald McLeish this morning and getting you even before the National Football League started in 1920. This is in the 1800s. But because it is the first week of college football, except for, the Alabama game last week, and why they were only favored by 7.5, I guess now you know. This week, let's talk college first because it's not getting any easier. I'm going to give you and talk to you about the lines and stuff. If you're into college football, which I hope you are, it's a much better game, and people play for the game. What I was thinking is, why don't you look at teams in a manner of which you think they have, starting with coaching on down. Eliminate the team, your favorite team. Let's say you live in Mississippi, you're a Mississippi fan or a Southern Mississippi fan. But and those are the teams you think you know. But they change every 4 years too. So you want to get to the place, you know where you want to get. You want to get to the place where you don't bet at all. Because you don't want, now this is from experiences years ago, you don't want that knock on the door. Open up, police. What officer? They want to see all your thing. Of course, you got football magazines, you got lines written down all over your house. And because you have this, they tear up your house. It's plain and simple. Go through everything, jewelry all over the place. I don't know why they think you have to go through things and not just leave them there. They feel like they have to throw everything. So, of course, your wife was real happy about this when she comes home. That's another story. So anyway, let's get into college football and start talking about the teams. So what I was thinking, there's so many games here that people will know nothing about. I happen to know the Ohio Bobcats, and they're playing in Kansas Jayhawks because I know people from both places. But none of these games, if you don't know, you don't have the knowledge or the time, don't bet college football. I have a friend he's died recently. I don't even know if he was a friend. He, he's in Ohio, of course. And after years, he bet Ohio State every week. Well, I don't know if you know it or not, or how old you are. And as you know, I'm near 100. He bets Ohio State, They hardly ever covered. Woody, along with Bo up in Michigan, were probably the worst money coaches in the history of the game. And you can't find any of their books in any other state. You can find books about Woody Hayes all over Ohio. Try to find one in Dubuque, Montana, or anywhere else, Texas even. So anyway, when you're looking at these games, I'd rather you didn't bet at all, because unless you have some information, why would you want to go bet someone, I don't know, look, Eastern Michigan, Old Dominion. How many people are going to know enough about that? I happen to love Appalachian State because they beat Michigan in Michigan about 10 years ago. That's a beautiful story, by the way. So anyway, let's go through this. I'm going to just go over it easily, more better. So what I want to tell you, I happen to know about this game personally because it's Ohio State. But how many people, how many people know Tulsa? Anybody know Tulsa? I happen to. But who knows they're the Golden Hurricane? I do. But what do you know about them that they're going to Ohio State? Of course, they're underdogs by 4 touchdowns or more. And you think, Ohio State's at home. They'll win by 5 touchdowns. Well, we have the best coach in the country. We, meaning Ohio State. Sorry. But I feel like I'm losing myself here. But this is a game I wouldn't bet. And Tulsa, by the way, has a very good program. As a matter of fact, they had 2 guys who came into the Heisman Trophy, I think it's 64, 65. 2 years in a row, they came in second. Jerry Rome in 64 and Howard Twilley in 65. You might want to look that up. I could be left, but I know I'm not wrong. So anyway, I don't want to tell you what to do, but you don't, unless you're going to Vegas. You can't know with knowledge. They've taken all the people that tout these games who say they have this or that and stuff. I used to work for people like that. And do you know, I want to stop here for a second. Do you know that over my 100 years, I never know anyone who really won money. You win games, you win weeks, you win 3 out of 4, 5 weeks in a row. That just easily go 1 and 3. But sometimes they got so good, people thought they were happy if they won 3 out of 4. Or I mean, one out of 4. Anyway, and Monday night, everybody's going to bet Monday night. So stay away from betting altogether. But if you can't, let's say you're coming into Monday night. Monday night is king. It's bigger than Sunday because it's only one game. Now, what if you come into Monday morning, Monday evening, whatever, and you're down let's say you're down $300 or $400. You went to Vegas because you wouldn't bet illegally in some other town with a bookie. Who would do that? Okay. So anyway, what happens is somebody's down $300 or $400, right? What do? They think, oh God, I got to pay this off. I only got till tomorrow. No. You know what they do? Everything is the word even. I know it's a 4-letter word, and I love 4-letter words. Lord, love, kind, good, Ryan. I could go on. But anyway, everybody bets Monday Night Football. So, I got to get even, the guy says, or girl. So I got to bet the 300 or 400 he's down. He's going to bet 300 or 400. Now what happens? He's going to lose this game. Let's just, for official. Let's say he loses this game. Now he's down almost $1,000. He couldn't leave well enough alone. Everybody bets Monday Night Football. So, and when it first came out, it seemed like it didn't matter how bad a team was. If the home team was an underdog, they would win. They'd win the game on Monday night. But that was the first 30 years. These last years, you never can tell. It doesn't seem to come out that way. The very first game was the New York Jets against in Cleveland. And the reason it was scheduled that way is because they wanted Namath for TV. And they also had a defensive back whose name was Battle. And he always chewed glass and showed everybody. Just another deuce. Anyway, they go to Cleveland, and just like year one when Cleveland came into the NFL in 1950, Cleveland beat the heck out of them. But anyway, Monday Night Football is just, if you can, stay away from the other games. If Monday Night Football is the game you love the most, and you're going to Vegas and betting legally, not going to jail, okay. Anyway, don't double your money if you're just you're down 300. Hey, and you don't like the game Monday night, go pay the 300. But okay, professional football. Finally, it's here. These are not preseason anymore. Oh, here, let me take a look at this. Okay, let's see. Well, the New York Jets, formerly the New York Titans. Yeah, no, the Titans are in Tennessee, but they used to be the Houston Oilers. This is another story. So, who's going to bet the Jets? They're underdog by 6 to Buffalo. Nobody's underdog 6 to Buffalo. They have a running back. They have Taylor at quarterback that half the league don't even know. Who's going to give up 6? What if the Jets end up doing something right? And even though they won't win the game. Anyway, I got this. I wouldn't even touch that. Then you got the Falcons at the Bears. You know what? The Bears are exciting. They went and got these 2 quarterback things they've got going, you know. Everybody's all excited. The rookie from North Carolina via Ohio. And the guy they paid all the money to from Tampa Bay. And they're going to be at home. So it looks like, oh man, Atlanta was in the Super Bowl. And you remember what happened in the second half of that with that defense. They went out and got a few players. But do you know who those players are? Check all this stuff out. Because the game is in Chicago. And they're favored by, what did I say? They're favored by 6.5. That's a touchdown. Can't win unless you win by 7, right? I think 7 might be too much for Atlanta, even though they got a great receiver and a decent running back, a real decent running back, actually. So I don't know. Is that enough to go to Veterans Stadium in Chicago, overlooking the East River? No, that's in New York. I'm sorry. I don't know. Why don't you just enjoy that game? Jacksonville at Houston. Wow, Houston's got this great defense, right? How come they're always losing? How come they're only favored by 5.5? I call that no man's land, by the way. If you're stuck at 5.5, you're going to need 6 or a 7 to win. So I've always referred to 4.5 to 5.5, no man's land. And you just have to, you're going to work it out with yourself. You're going to have to think, well, nobody's going to win this game by 5.5. Nobody's going to lose this game by 4.5. You're going to have to either lose it by 3, lose it by 7, or win by one of those numbers to cover. So the number is just to confuse that they don't know in Vegas. They put out a line just to make sure that you bet both ways. I would love to have had that job for years. If they put up a line, Dallas and the Giants, well, we know the Giants beat them twice last year. And Elliott is out. So Dallas is still going to be favored because they're at home. And you know what else? They're Dallas. They're going to be favored by too much. Always. I mean, they're not going to be underdogs. How come they're not underdogs? Lost twice to the Giants last year. Well, they're not. So anyway, you go on. The Cardinals are in Detroit. Hey, the Cardinals have a nice defense. In Detroit, nobody trusts Detroit since 1957, 56, 57. I think they won the NFL right there the year before. Well, down there. So, Steelers are in Cleveland. Oh, they're only favored by 100. Actually, only by 10. But Cleveland, look at all the things Cleveland's done. Huh? They got rid of a quarterback they paid money for, and they're still going to have to pay his salary even though he went to Denver. They're going to have to pay, just $17 million this year. Other than that, not much. But they've got a new quarterback who's a rookie. They got rid of him, or the other guy, so they could start a rookie from Notre Dame. What, because he's from Notre Dame? Anyway, I would prefer you don't touch those games. Now the Raiders are in Tennessee. Ooh, everybody's excited about the Raiders this year. Raiders this, Raiders that. Oh, and they got beast mode. Oh, what? So what? He's overweight. He hasn't played in over a year. And what are they going to do? They have a decent offensive line. They have probably the worst defensive backfield they've ever had. They've always been good. I mean, Tatum was great. Atkinson was great. Lester the Molester led the league in interceptions one year. They don't have any of these guys or anybody like them. And since Woodson retired, I wouldn't trust their defense. So, actually, the Raiders being favored, boy, there's one game I do like. I wouldn't want to part with any real money, but if you made me, I'd say I'd have to take Tennessee. They're at home, and everybody say, "Oh no, what about Carr?" Yeah, he hasn't played in a million years. It's like that. They gave him all this money when he was injured. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything about this game at all. So, anyway, let's get going here. I want you to, Indianapolis at the Rams. It's like a, what's the name's not going to play? Quarterback's not going to play. Can't even say. So what are we going to do? Well, you can't bet the Rams. They have a good defense. Rams have a good defense. What are they going to do on offense with Goff? How about, I have a feeling that might be the least watched game outside of LA in the whole thing. Here's a game. Watch this game. This game might be a preliminary to the playoffs. Green Bay is at home against Seattle. That's a game just to watch. You love Green Bay? Watch them. Don't lay 3 points. You love Seattle? Don't just take just 3 on the road. They're both good enough to be in that final game, see who goes to the Super Bowl. This is the game of the week easily by 2 real good teams. And hopefully, for your sake, it's on TV. But I wouldn't bet it. Now you go into Carolina at the Panthers. Well, I got to tell you, this kid that they drafted, McCaffrey, from Stanford, his dad went to Stanford, and his dad went to Stanford, and his mother went to Stanford. Anyway, his dad, Ed McCaffrey, and then his dad, Easy Ed McCaffrey, played for Baltimore in the 50s. But his dad, McCaffrey, 6'5", I don't know how the Giants let him go. That's about 25, 30 years ago. But they let him go. He goes to Denver, and he's on their Super Bowl championship teams. And I have myself done it, but I've never seen him drop a pass. And being someone who I'm a receiver, it's the only position I ever loved. So anyway, just enjoy that game. Now your Giants are at Dallas. Dallas is only favored by 4 because of Elliott. You're thinking, well, that's not going to happen again. Giants aren't going to win again. They won twice last year. They won the year before one. I mean, if Giants, do they have their number, as people like to say? I don't think so. Anyway, the Panthers have this one kid, McCaffrey's son. I think he's going to be the breakout player of the year. And if you're talking fantasy, I know you don't like rookies and stuff. I think McCaffrey is going to be maybe the rookie of the year. I don't even know what position they're going to call that he plays. He's going to come out of the backfield. He's going to split out. He's going to, I don't think he's going to go on wide, but he's going to catch the ball across the middle. He's not afraid like Randy Moss or something like that to go across the middle, even though he's only 5'11", which is a great size actually. But Monday night, guess what? This year, every year, you have 2 Monday night games to start the season. They start early too. Minnesota is home against the Saints. These poor Saints. They got Breeze, who I rate the top quarterback in the league. They got this defense that set a record last year for their worst defense ever. And guess what? 2 years before that, they set a record that was the worst. And then so last year they broke that record. I don't understand why they can't get one defensive player on that team that can matter, make all pro something. But they can't. So I don't know how I gotta tell you. And they're in Minnesota. Minnesota's got a good defense. And then final game is Chargers in Denver. Chargers are supposed to come on with this great defense. You know, they got Bosa last year at defensive end. Maybe you got another great defensive end. But I don't think you could. I wouldn't bet against Denver. They're only 5.5. You couldn't take that. If you don't want to give it, don't give it. But don't take it. I mean, the argument is always going to be somebody's going to win. Yeah, but that doesn't mean the line is wrong. The line is right. They're saying they want to get action both ways. And they can't say they're favored by a touchdown, 7, because they get too much money the other side. So anyway, that's this week. Actually, I was hoping and loving for the chance to talk to you about the original things we want to talk about. So we're going to learn all about football this season. So from, I think the first about 1,300, something like that. But we'll do it. You'll like it. Hey, so remember, if you like what you see or hear, subscribe down below, and let's talk later, okay? I'm out.